Hello everyone, welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Ace. Ace is from San Francisco in California in the USA. So let's see what Ace has to say. Enjoy the interview. Hello.
Hey, William.
Hello Ace, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'll be very well. Thank you so much for taking the time today for the interview. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So tell me, how's your morning going so far?
It's okay. I just got up a little bit ago, actually. I was bartending last night, so late night.
Did you rest well?
I did. How's your morning going?
It's been good. Yes, I wake up quite early this morning. I went to the gym and I just had I already had dinner actually.
Nice.
Hey, so tell me, where are you from?
I live in San Francisco, California.
What's the best part of living there?
Everything, really. There's one or two things that are problematic, but the city itself is just a magical little bubble. It's unlike any other city in the United States, and there's a lot of characters, so always someone interesting to meet. It's generally beautiful weather all the time. It's gorgeous today. It's kind of like Wonderland.
And that's the place where you've been raised and you were born?
No, I'm originally from West Virginia.
And why San Francisco? Why did the change?
It started off as a change of pace. I needed somewhere new to go see, and I had been living in Washington, D.C. for about 7 years, and just not the place for me.
And all your family, they're back in Virginia, West Virginia?
Yeah.
I see. Hey, and tell me, what do you do for a living?
I prop style. I assist with a prop stylist. So whenever somebody is shooting a catalog or an advertisement or a cookbook, there's the photographer who takes the pictures and an art director who kind of oversees the entire operation and tells the photographer and the prop stylist how they want the image to come across, certain moods and whatnot. And the prop stylist provides most everything else. So surfaces, backgrounds, small props that will actually tell the story, that makes it relatable to somebody who then sees the photo and is like, oh, I relate to what's going on here. I really like this.
And that's where you put your magic.
It's where I put some of my creativity. I do a few other things as well.
Okay, so I was checking your profile a little bit, and I could see that you are working as well on fundraising AIDS life cycle.
Yeah, AIDS life cycle. It's a 545-mile bike ride between San Francisco and Los Angeles over the course of a week. It's actually coming up here in like 2 weeks.
Oh my God! So it's going to start in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah.
And how's sorry, carry on.
It's a fully supported ride. So it's put on between the San Francisco AIDS Foundation and the Los Angeles LGBT Center. And we have camp every single night. It's mostly a tent city, but there's 4 or 5 rest stops every single day, a lunch stop, and then there are cars that will actually ride along with the riders. There's about, I think this year, 2,000 to 2,500 riders that are doing it. So it's a very big event. We raise a lot of awareness for people living with HIV and AIDS, and also raise a lot of money to help combat that. There are a lot of really amazing programs both here in San Francisco and in Los Angeles that benefit greatly from the funds we raised. This will be my 4th year, and I don't remember how much they raised the last time the road ride happened, but each of the years that I rode, we raised over $15 million.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Oh my God. And how long does it take the whole journey from San Francisco to LA?
1 week. And each day is split up into different mileages. So it's about 85 miles the first day, over 100 miles the second day, and then it just keeps getting split up.
Amazing. Okay, so through the journey, through the game, I'm going to explore a little bit more about the fundraising, about your career, about your life, and your point of views.
Okay.
Are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and to share your point of views?
I am ready, yes.
Amazing. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So this is my friend, full of random fun questions. Okay, I'm just gonna play a song now, just for us to move a little bit, for you to wake up.
Okay.
Before the first question, let's do it. Okay, so just before we start the game, during the journey, if there is a question that you don't want to talk about for some reason, you don't want to answer, always can change, okay?
Okay.
Let's do it. First question for you is, where is the most exotic place have you ever been?
Exotic. Kauai, I would say. Beyond that, Santorini or the Amalfi Coast. All three are pretty exotic in their own different ways.
And when was that? Well, when was that trip?
Kauai was about 5 years ago. Santorini was 4, and the Amalfi Coast was 6 or 7 now.
I see. And which one, if you could go back between the three, which one you choose to go back first?
Kauai.
And why?
It's beautiful and it's just very natural. It's not built up like a lot of cities. It's kept most of its very natural state, and the scenery there is just absolutely stunning. It's one of a kind.
Amazing, very good. Let's go for another one. Let's do it. Right, next question for you is, what is the soundtrack of your life and why you consider that?
The soundtrack of my life would probably be a DJ set that is mainly trance, but some house music as well. Electronic music is pretty much all I listen to for the most part. I don't listen to pop music. I like classic rock as well, but electronica that's my favorite.
It's your thing.
Yeah.
I love it. I love electronic music as well. It's amazing. It just makes you fly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's amazing. Hey, saying that, tell me a little bit about the gay scene in San Francisco. It's you have it's approachable. It's okay to be gay. You feel safe. The gay community is very supportive as well. They have different tribes. Tell me a little bit about it.
Well, I would say for the most part, San Francisco is split up into 3 different kind of gay areas. One would be Soma, south of Market. It's the traditional leather area. It's definitely a bit more gritty, very, very much into the leather scene and the kink scene. It's very open and welcoming and lots of fun events. And then the second I would say is the Castro, which is the one that most everybody kind of associates with San Francisco. It's the amazing pride flag that's been there forever, and the general area itself is just a lot of gay businesses, a lot of gays decide to live there. And then the third I would say is probably more unknown, but all of the people who are gay in San Francisco but don't actually go out that much. They're more
discreet,
but also just going out isn't really their thing. Like they just happen to be gay and living in San Francisco. They don't necessarily associate with either the Castro or Soma.
I see. And which one of those three it's your more frequently, you go more frequently?
Soma. I live in Soma. I live pretty much at 8th and Mission, so it's right around the corner from me, and it's definitely more the scene that I feel comfortable in.
I see. Okay. Next question. Let's do it. If I knew you are a big fan of house music, I would have prepared for you some good music for us to dance.
It's okay. I actually enjoy all music.
Next question is, what is your favorite weekend activity?
Going to the beach. There's a beach here. Well, there's a few beaches here in San Francisco, but there is a traditionally gay beach that sits nestled right along the Golden Gate Bridge, and it happens to be the one that most everybody decides that it's a clothing optional beach as well. So it's a lot of nudism.
Oh, exciting.
Yeah. It's, being comfortable who you are and just like letting it all hang out, literally.
It's you saying that I was checking your profile, some pictures in your profile Instagram, and I can see that you are very let's say open about nudity. You're very, the way you express yourself. You always had this mindset, this way of expressing yourself?
No, I would say that it definitely blossomed here in San Francisco.
Okay.
Maybe I was getting to that point in Washington, D.C., but it's not very welcoming there. So as a child, I actually grew up a Jehovah's Witness. So their values are very much more conservative. Mm-hmm. And it's not smiled upon to be a nudist or even really be naked at any point. So here in the city, I get to, so one of the other really amazing things about living in San Francisco is for the longest time, you could actually be naked and walk down the street. And they changed the laws now. So you have to be wearing the tiniest something, but I can walk up Market Street in my jockstrap and I might get a couple looks, but nobody really cares.
Wow. And do you think that's the way you express yourself now regarding nudity? Do you think it's kind of connected with the way you've been raised with the...
Yeah, I would say that it's absolutely on some level me kind of rebelling against my upbringing. Yeah. But I think that that's also very important for people to analyze their lives and kind of understand why they do things. And then if they realize that something makes them uncomfortable on some level, it's probably better to do it. It's always more liberating to be uncomfortable and realize that you are able to do it than to just live with this constant overshadowing fear of always wanting to fit in and be like everybody else.
Absolutely. I think being naked is a way as well of, being free in a way. You know what I mean? Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I do.
Yes, I think it's just like, okay, I'm free. There's no hidden places. You just like, that's what you see. And like people who likes like expressing themselves naked, I'm sure for them there, because when you see when you go to naked areas or beaches or places, people that they're so like free, comfortable. You talk to you can feel it, and they make you feel comfortable as well.
Absolutely.
And I remember I actually saying that I've been in different, I've been in Spain, but it's like it's not like a must. If you would like to, you've been, if not that. But I've been in Rio de Janeiro. I'm originally from Brazil, so I was living in Europe, and I went on vacation, and I was with a friend of mine. We were exploring Rio de Janeiro outside the capital, and actually we just was exploring the mountain, and we saw this place. Oh, there's a naked beach down the hill. If you'd like to carry on from this step, you need to be naked. And I was like, oh my God, I've never been before. Shall we try? And we did. And we got there. And actually it was a very small place. And it wasn't, I'm not sure if it was a gay area, because I've seen some straight, like it was couples. And I realized it was most of European people there. And I was like, oh my God. And I was a bit, it was the first time, the first time when you do that, you go like, oh my God, how is it going to be? You have concerns in your head. As soon as I got there and I realized everyone was talking, there were no people staring at each other. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is free. They feel free here. And literally, I forgot I was naked at one point because it was so natural.
Yeah, it's super liberating.
Yeah, I was like, wow, that was a good experience. I wasn't looking for it, and suddenly just came along. I was like, okay, let's do it. Let's try. And it was liberating. It was amazing. I loved it.
Yeah. I would also say on that note that it's slightly easier for me. I'm a younger white guy living in America, and I'm not unattractive, so it's a little easier sometimes for me to put myself out there. But I kind of hope on some level, by me kind of being so open with it, that it might push other people to be comfortable with themselves as well, and realize that anybody can do it, and they really should. I mean, everyone should be a lot more comfortable with themselves, whoever they are, however they look. Like, just be you.
Totally, I totally agree. And I think as well, people nowadays with the social media platforms, people they express themselves much more, and you see a lot of people express themselves, be naked, nudity. It's something, it gets so normal now. When you see, it's like, okay, it's something not like, I think that helps. It's helping now the platform on social media, people to express themselves and encourage people to be themselves as well. This way, if you do like, they do like to.
Yes.
Be naked every day.
Yes, please. I mean, I'm half naked already.
I thought you'd come naked. Actually, I had an interview with someone from Florida. He was a straight guy, and he was completely naked, literally. And I knew, I saw his profile, and he asked the question as well. It's okay if I can be naked? I said, of course, just be yourself. And we touched some topics regarding nudity as well. And he's from Israel. He's been living in America. So it was very amazing interview. It was just, it's again, when you are yourself, when you express yourself, it's easy to connect with people.
Yeah.
For sure. Next question. Let's do it. K. Ace from San Francisco. Next question is, if you could be in somebody's place or skin for 24 hours, who that would be and why?
Kamala Harris.
Tell me why.
Well, she's completely different from me. I have no idea what a person of color's life would be like. And she's in a position of extreme power in the United States and actually has the ability to affect a lot of change. So I think it would be really interesting to see how somebody that is completely different from me, for the most part, lives their life and what they have to go through and what they get to do. I mean, it's trying to see a completely different side of how people live, but also she's got some clout. Like she's vice president of the United States. She got power.
Totally. Oh my God. She already, I think the whole world was celebrating the moment, you know what I mean, cheering up because it was, you know, a moment that never happened before. And you saying that, Ace, is a very good point because sometimes, even though we are very we are very understanding and we don't judge other people's, you know, just because the way they are, it doesn't matter over there. But sometimes you don't understand 100% if you don't be in their skin, at least. Do you know what I mean? For you to get the whole picture, you can't. You could be like, okay, I know, you know, you could, but it's not like the same if you'd be there to, you know, on their daily basis, just to feel how they feel being in that situation of it just is themselves. How can you change? So, good point. Ready for another question?
You got it.
Let's do it. Before the next question, of course, I can see it's visible, your beautiful tattoo, that's very interesting tattoo you have around your body, yeah? Tell me a little bit about it. When did you have it? When did you start it? And what's the meaning of it?
Well, it started off with this chest piece here. It's a heart that's made out of coal, and it has a diamond in the center of it. I started that one 13 years ago, and then the vines came after. I'd been visiting San Francisco on my first vacation ever and decided I wanted a tattoo, and this is how I started it. And I came back to San Francisco to have the artist start work on the rest of it, and they canceled on me. So when I went back to Washington, D.C., I found another artist who could kind of tie in the rest of the vines that you see here. They're grapevines, and they also go down. And it's, oddly enough, it's about my family and where I'm from. My father was a coal miner, and my last name is Wine. So it was designed as a way to remember kind of where I come from and the important things surrounding that. It was very interesting growing up as a gay Jehovah's Witness in West Virginia, and I learned a lot, and there are certain things that I just never want to forget, and every single day when I look in the mirror and I see this, it just reminds me of all of those things, and it helps.
Totally. And saying that, Ace, when you did you have the support of your family being gay as a child or a teenager, or it was a bit tricky because of the way you've been brought up?
I did not have the support of my family after they found out that I was gay, which was probably my junior year in high school. They found out, and they actually had a little intervention for me, explaining to me that I wasn't actually gay, that this was just a phase or something ridiculous, and I tried to play it off. Like I tried to say that I don't know what you're talking about. No, I'm not gay. Like, but they had found a social media profile of me online, oddly enough. The one time I forgot to scrub the internet history, and at that point, when they showed me the printout of my profile that said homosexual for my sexual orientation, something in my brain just clicked, and I was like, yeah, you know what? I am gay, and you're gonna have to live with it, because this isn't a phase. This isn't something that's going to go away. This is who I am. So it caused some significant rifts in my family life. I ended up having to move out of my house halfway through my senior year in high school, and didn't really talk to my family for a couple years. I did not. I didn't back down from being myself, and in not communicating with them, I made them realize that if they actually wanted to have me as a presence in their life, they were going to have to live with who I am and just deal with it. And slowly but surely, for the most part, they came around. You know, Jehovah's Witnesses, so it's not exactly the most welcoming, but I know they love me.
For sure. I totally understand that, and I believe they love you. You know why? I have an idea sometimes. In the end of the day, our parents, because of religion, society, you know, the world out there that can be very judgmental. Sometimes they, deep inside, what I think the biggest worry is about us being safe in a way. I think they, you know what I mean? I think not all of cases, of course, you know, there's always exceptions, but I think most of them, the parents, they are worried about what's the world gonna treat us, how we gonna deal with that, how we gonna live a life without, you know, having maybe some harm or anything that can happen to us. And sometimes they need to take their time as well, because the way they've been, they are so focused sometimes in, you know, religion or this, what society thinks, and they are a bit maybe afraid to step in a different direction. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's uncomfortable.
Yeah. Saying that, Ace, if you could make time back and take this period of your life for some reason, like change it, would you do that, knowing who you are today, or not? You'd keep it?
I'd keep it. There's not a single thing in my life that I would change. I think it's important to realize that if you change something in your past, you're not going to be who you are today. And I'm extremely happy with who I am and where I am in my life. There's absolutely nothing that I would change, because I could make it worse.
And everything counts at the end of the day. Everything is part of the journey, and we should be grateful, because it builds the person we are today. And it's good to be gay. It's good to be the way we are, with maybe some traumas or maybe some challenges in our childhood. But in the end of the day, when you grow up and you know who we are, that's it. I think it's a good place to be. Let's put it this way.
Agreed.
Next question for you is talking about family. Look, this question: who in your family you would trade place with, and why? You're like, it's so hard to pick. I'm joking.
Okay. I wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't change places with anybody in my family.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can live there. Don't need an explanation. It's just we live there. It's so fine.
Okay.
Next question. Let's do it. Okay, Ace. Next question for you is: what has been the happiest point of your life?
Now is kind of the happiest point in my life. I live in this amazing bubble of a city, and I have some really, really amazing friends, and I am in 2 relationships with men that I love dearly and who I know are very devoted to me. Um, yeah, and it's just kind of amazing that I am here where I am right now. It's every day every day I wake up extremely lucky.
Very good. When you say you are in a relationship with 2 men, you are in a triple relationship.
No, I'm in 2 separate relationships.
Ah,
So I have a boy and I am daddy, and I have a pup and I am handler. My boy lives here in San Francisco, and my pup lives up in Seattle. My boy is 59 and my pup just turned 44.
wow.
Yeah. So,
And both of them, they know about each other, I guess.
yeah, absolutely. We've gone on trips together.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really special.
Amazing. Good one. Next question. Let's do it. Before the next question, as I can see how much you enjoy living in San Francisco, do you see yourself living for a long period of time?
Probably not forever. The city's very expensive. And while I enjoy paying whatever I have to pay to live here now, at some point I'd like to leave, staying in California if possible. It's actually a dream of mine to buy some property somewhere and start living off the grid. Just making my own food, having my own tiny farm, being able to provide for myself without having to count on anyone else. But outside of that, I would love to live outside of the United States. There's a lot of problems here, and I know everybody has their problems. Everywhere has problems, but the society here in America is very troublesome. There's a lot of sense of entitlement, and it kind of feels like just because people want something, they think they deserve it. And I think a lot of that is the fact that, for the most part, we're still a pretty new country, like in the grand scheme of the world. And we don't have the history yet to really understand that we shouldn't be living the way that we do. The capitalism alone is a horrible way to live. But we started off this country by massacring the indigenous people and then just taking their land, and that's not really the right example that we should be kind of like proud of. And I'm not saying that Americans are proud that that happened, but I think it kind of set the tone for future generations that are born here to think that it's okay just because you want something to take it.
I see. I'm originally from Brazil, and the Portuguese, when they arrived in Brazil as well, it wasn't this, let's say, the same situation. But I know what you mean. The natives there, they were there, and I think that's why Brazil, we are so mixed. You know what I mean? I've got like different backgrounds, and yeah, we can go different directions. Let's put it this way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here we are, 2022.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Next question for you is, what does happiness mean to you?
Happiness to me is being satisfied with who you are and every aspect of that. No one's perfect. I think to be truly happy means that you are as okay with your faults as you are with any positive that you have as well. Everyone's good at something. Like, everyone is good at something. And there are lots of people who are like each other. There are lots of people who are blonde. There are lots of people who fair skinned. There are lots of people who have mohawks. There are lots of people who have tattoos. There are lots of people who have piercings. There are lots of people who are like me, but no one is me. I'm the only one like myself. And that's true for every single person in the world. Like, you can be the only you. And I think that happiness is understanding that you can be you, and that's okay. You don't have to be any better for anyone.
I think everyone is unique on their own way, and that's what makes everyone beautiful. When you are yourself, you know what I mean? It's pure. It's the only tool you have, in your life, is being yourself. The right people will come along, the wrong people will go away, and that's what makes interesting and beautiful. I totally agree. Happiness is about you being yourself as well, and know that, and be sure that you are yourself, or try to be yourself most of the time. And yeah, I agree with you. Ace, ready for another one?
Ready.
Let's do it. Okay, before the next question, when I was checking your profile, there was a phrase there that got my attention, okay? It says there, I'm just one more skinny waist, big ... heart. My question to you is, what that ... means, stands for?
Those are ellipses. And they signify that you're not finished with the statement. Your idea continues. That one in particular, that's not the exact phrase that one of my friends related to me. I stole the phrase and I just changed the last word so that way it was a little more appropriate for mass consumption.
Right, I'm just teasing you now. I'm just putting you in the spot just to see. Yeah.
It's all good.
Next question for you is, if you could stay any age for the rest of your life, what age would that be and why?
Do I get to keep the knowledge that I have now?
Yes, why not?
If I got to keep the knowledge that I have now, I would say 30. I feel like 30 is a really great physical condition. Um, you know, for the most part, like you're on some level fully developed at that point, um, but you're not old enough that things start kind of like going slightly downhill. You know, as we age, our bodies start to deteriorate. So I feel like 30 is a very it's just good physical condition.
Say that, Ace, do you think that for you, personally for you, age just numbers, or for you, when you age, it's a bit, personally for you, you see as a trick thing. It's like something that not can worry you, but you kind of, sometimes it reminds you your age, or it's just a number?
It's just a number. I think age is an idea. There are some amazing people out there who are much older than me, who are much better at a lot of things than I am, or that I ever will be, and are a lot better at them than a lot of younger people. So I don't think that age is necessarily I don't think that it's something that people should look at and be like, ugh, I'm getting old. Well, you're getting older. Like, old is like when you hit 90. Like that, like if you get to be 90 years old, you can be like, dude, I'm old. Like, yeah. I'm 90. I'm old. That's okay. But I mean, other than that, it's just kind of like, no, like, still got plenty of life.
You still can deal with it. You still can do a lot of life.
You can do so much with just a week of your life. I mean, you can do so much in a single day of your life. It's, yeah, it's, there's nothing wrong with aging. Unfortunately, I would say, in the gay community, it is
challenging sometimes.
It is very challenging for the most part, and I still don't necessarily understand it. I don't understand it. I mean, personally, I've always found people older than me very attractive.
Yeah.
Mostly because older people have a better idea of what they want. And a lot of younger people are just so concerned about the wrong things, and they have no idea what they want. And that's, I don't have time for that.
Yes, I think the wiser you get, you know what I mean? The old, it's just wise. I think it comes with the whole package, you know what I mean? Like, you know, wiser, intelligent. There's so much things that you can learn and you can get. It is sexy. I found sexy when I see someone, you know what I mean? Like, with a lot of knowledge, with a lot of, they can talk about anything. They're not like rushing. They are just living a peaceful. I found so sexy, you know what I mean? It's attractive. Get my attention straight away.
It's very attractive, yes.
Okay, Ace, I have 3 questions left for you, okay?
Okay.
Let's do it. Next question for you is, what are you most passionate about?
First and foremost, enjoying my life. I've designed my life for the most part to be able to enjoy it. Even my jobs, I enjoy greatly. Being able to have fun, remembering to have fun is extremely important to me. Maybe too important at times. Beyond that, all of my relationships, and not just the 2 devoted relationships I'm in, but my friendships, maintaining those is also extremely important to me. mostly because I don't feel that my birth family is, I love them and I know they love me, but that's not really my family. Um, my chosen family are the people who are just the most important. And, you know, as I said before, I've got some amazing friends, and it's paramount that I keep those relationships healthy, however that may be. Yeah.
What's your star sign? Just for curiosity.
I'm an Aries.
Oh,
I was born on April 1st.
oh my God, interesting. Amazing. You know, astrology, they say that Aries, they are the childish of the other whole star sign.
I believe it.
Yeah, they're full of energy. They're very true to themselves. That's so true. They are very, you know, like proactive. They do a lot. You know, they always doing something, and they're very childish. They are very. I think that's what makes them like very interesting, and people like to be around. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I think all of us should have this childish like inside us. Always, you know, come out. Always. I think it's fascinating. 2 questions left for you.
Okay, William.
Let's do it. But before the next question, tell me, you said that you've done already this fundraising trip, yeah, by cycling from San Francisco to LA. Tell me a funny story or something that happened that you're never gonna forget through that journeys that you've done in the past. Something that you go like, oh my God, that's something it's not gonna happen again.
On day 4 of the ride, it's the halfway point between San Francisco and Los Angeles, and you start off the morning and you have to ride up a mountain. It's called the Evil Twins. So you're riding and you get to the top of this hill and you're kind of like, great, I'm at the top. And then you have to go equally as far up to the top of another hill. And then you get to ride all the way down the other side. And you get to go quite fast if you want. Like 45 miles per hour. Yeah, you're tearing down this very steep incline on 2 wheels with some lycra between you and the asphalt for the most part. So if something bad happens, it could be bad. So I was going very fast down this hill. And when I got to the bottom and got to the rest stop on the other side, I realized that my front tire had been loose the entire time and wasn't actually tightened all the way. And it was just kind of like oh, you could have died, but you didn't. I think that's probably the most interesting part of everything. I mean, there's so many things on the ride that are fun and interesting and just beautiful. But for me personally, that was probably the best.
What a relief afterwards, isn't it? When you realize that, my goodness, you felt so relieved, yeah? Next question for you is, if you could make up a school subject, yeah, what that would be and why?
How to be compassionate with others. how to be compassionate and understand others. I think that's better. As humans, we're actually so much more alike than we are different, and people lose sight of that because of any number of reasons. They look different, they act different, they don't like pineapple on their pizza. Like, whatever reason it is, people kind of focus on the wrong things instead of trying to understand somebody else. And maybe that's human nature on one level, but I also think that a lot of it is history and being taught that people like to hate on other people just because they're different. You know, I'll try not to touch on this too much, but I mean, religion, like all of the wars and the senseless murder that have been started in the name of religion or politics. I feel like if there was a subject and children were taught how to understand other people and then also be compassionate about it, that it's not going to solve every problem in the world, but it would be a nice step towards it.
Totally agree, Ace. I think children, they would have different mindsets as they grow as an adult. My God, it would be amazing for them, because we try now like the most we can. But if you're being raised with this mindset since a child, it would be so normal for you to see different people not the same as you, and they will treat everyone like as the same. Because at the end of the day, children, they treat everyone like that. Just because when they start growing, the society starts to step in, you know what I mean? And to put rules where there was never. So that's how we being brought up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Totally agree. Maybe one day, you never know, the message is out there, people's gonna watch the interview now, the universe is gonna start to work on it. And I got goosebumps now saying that. So let's leave the universe to do its job, yeah?
Yes.
Ready for the last one?
You got it.
Let's do it. Last question. I can see you're a good dancer. Just giving away a little bit of moves, but I can see you can dance. I can see you can dance.
I like dancing.
I can't wait to come to. I had a few guests on the show from San Francisco, and I can't wait to come to San Francisco one day to try to get everyone together to go dancing, to go, to see the city. You told me now about this place where by the Golden Bridge, and I said, I'd love to see that. I'd love to see that. You're gonna be the one who's gonna show me around, okay?
You got it. I am a pretty good. I'm a pretty good tour guide of San Francisco.
There we go. You see, it's recording now. Okay, people are gonna see that too. You gave your word.
And I will stand up to it.
It's before the last question. People watch the interview. Would you like to maybe to help or donate for the fundraising? The HIV life cycle. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what people watching TV like to help, or would you like to join as well, or maybe do this adventure on the rides? Anything? What's your advice, or which information could give that people could join and help somehow?
Well, the biggest part of that would be going to AIDSLifecycle.com, and you can just follow the links from there. There's donation buttons all over. That's really the biggest part, is to donate to the cause. selfishly, I would love it if they donated to my team.
Hey!
I'm the captain of my team, and there's 7 of us, and we do a good job. But they don't have to donate to us. They can donate to anybody. They can donate to the organization itself. And when they donate, those funds are used right away. Like, it's not like they're saving up all of this money and then once the ride happens, it gets dispersed. The services that these organizations put on are daily, and those funds get used as soon as they receive them. So just donating and educate yourselves. If you're curious about what it is and what we do, there's lots of information that's out there.
Amazing. Thanks for sharing. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for asking.
Last question for you is, what is the worst advice have you ever given?
When I was in high school, I had a falling out with a friend, and I had this friend who was a girl, and I knew that the guy that I was friends with, who I was no longer friends with, was interested in this girl, and she knew it as well. And I advised her to date this guy specifically with the intention of breaking up with him and breaking his heart. Yeah, I was much different when I was younger. And she was into it. Like, it wasn't like she didn't understand what I was trying to do. And it backfired horribly because she ended up kind of liking the guy.
Oh.
And then when they did end up breaking up, she was also as torn up as he was about the entire thing. And it's a very big teaching moment for me. Easily the worst advice that I've ever given anyone.
You're, you know what I mean? At the age or at the time, you're the time to make mistakes, do wrong advice. So, it happened to all of us. I'm sure, all of us during this time, we have those temptations, let's say this way.
That's kind of you to say. But yeah, that's probably the worst thing I've ever done in my entire life. I can't think of anything else that I've done that reaches that level of this.
It's okay. It's the past now, and it's beautiful. You recognize that, and you know that, even though, you know what I mean. But again, all of us, we go through those times, and I'm sure everyone can point a lot of things as well that you've done during that time. So don't worry, you're not the only one in the boat. All of us, we are together, okay?
Okay.
Hey, it's not the end yet. Let's play now the word association game, okay? I'm going to give away some words. Just tell me one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking, okay?
Okay.
So, I hope you are enjoying the interview. Before we do the word association game, don't forget to give a like, don't forget to share this video, and also don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Just click on the button right there. Thank you so much and enjoy the word association game. Whew, let's do it. One word for money.
Cash.
How about love?
Family.
One word for sex.
Hardcore.
Ooh. Family, one word.
Mother.
Life.
Enjoy.
Politics.
Bad.
Religion.
Worse.
Fear.
Overcome.
Friendship.
Best.
One word for desire.
Crave.
One word for regret.
Sadness.
Success.
Happiness.
One word for wish.
Dream.
How about happiness?
Friendship.
One word for West Virginia.
Beautiful.
One word for San Francisco.
Magical.
And the last one now, USA.
Troublesome.
Actually, another one. One word for AIDS life cycle.
Daunting.
I like this word. Okay, let's pretend now I'm going to meet your lovely partner, both of them, one from Seattle. Yeah, I'm gonna have a coffee with the one from Seattle, and I'm going to ask him, tell me the most beautiful thing about Ace, and tell me something that he still needs to work on. What he would say?
He would probably say that I'm one of the more fun people that he's ever gotten the chance to befriend. And that I need to work on finding a purpose.
Interesting. If I would ask the same question to your other partner, would be the same answer?
Probably slightly different. He would absolutely say that I need to find purpose. Like that's the thing that I need to work on for sure. But the best thing about me, in his eyes, is that I am able to have a conversation about anything, even when it's something that's uncomfortable or troubling, that I'm always open and willing to talk and have a discussion about whatever it is and try to present my point of view and what my thoughts are on it, and then also listen effectively to what his thoughts are on it and reach an understanding as to how we feel about the situation together, instead of it just having our own ideas and not being able to talk to each other about it.
And I think he's so right, Ace, because I'm meeting you right now at this moment, and since we started the interview, I feel like I could talk to you about anything, because you have this approachable personality that's, I feel like, I could go on, ask questions, and I'm sure you'd be able to discuss and explain and go, in a very not judgmental way. You'd be free. Sometimes when you talk to people that you feel like, okay, I can ask anything or I can talk about anything because this person is not going to judge me. This person is not going to, be like, not going to have any, let's say, it's not going to make me feel uncomfortable or anything. And you have that, actually. You truly have that, just genuine, a way of people connect with you and express yourself. A good point.
Thank you.
But you both, as you said about your purpose in life, yeah, both of them saying that. Why is that, in your opinion?
Because it's true. I do a lot of stuff. Like I'm I'm constantly busy. I'm constantly doing something. But I haven't found the one thing that I really, really enjoy doing that I want to make a job out of or a career. I more or less just, well, first I take jobs that are fun, and that's important to me because I have to enjoy what I'm doing. But I'm very lucky. The jobs that I get are usually given to me. I haven't for a long time gone out and really tried to find a job that I am very passionate about, and it kind of gives me, on some level, not a lot of purpose in my life, and it's noticeable to the people who are closest to me.
I see. It will come for sure.
Yeah, I'm getting closer to it. It just, there's one or two things that haven't quite, they're just not quite there yet.
But just the fact that you know it's half of the way journey already, you know, you get it there. That's a good point. Let's play now Ace and the Magic Box, and you can ask me a question. But before that, let's play the music one more time. Let's do it. Okay, Ace, you can ask me a question now.
So the question I have for you, William, is what is the worst thing that you feel you've done in your life?
Oh my God, you put me on the spot now. Wow. The worst thing that I've done in my life. Oh my goodness. Okay, the first thing that came to my mind is it's something again about childhood, about something that's it's something that if I could go back in time, I would have changed. Anyway, I think maybe I was like maybe 10 or 9 years old. I don't remember more or less, but it was around this age. I don't know why. My grandmother, she's a nurse, yeah, and I remember growing up, and I remember she for me she was like the savior of the neighborhood. I've seen so many people coming, you know, during the weekend because they cut something or they had an accident. I remember seeing her always on the go. I remember, and she was a midwife as well, because so many children at her home. She had like a bedroom where she was, you know, doing delivery, where she was helping. So I grew up seeing her, like, and I was scared of her because, you know, she was always with needles, with scissors, all this kind of thing. It made me always nervous and scared about her. Anyway, saying that, one day, I don't remember the reason why, but I was with my cousin. She's 3 years older than me. You're kind of playing together on the streets, and she, I don't remember what was the situation, but I asked her something, and she said, "No, I'm not gonna do it." So because I didn't, it was my fault or my mistake anyway. And she carried on walking and left me behind. And I was calling her name. And she didn't go back. So I just took a piece of stone, like very sharp stone, and I literally threw on her feet and literally cut like deeply. And I remember seeing her like crying, like bad. I think I got more scared seeing her suffering than the action that I did of throwing this stone on her. Oh my God, I felt so scared. I felt so, I was looking at her, I could see how much she was suffering with that, you know, moment. And I didn't know what to do. I just knew that I was wrong. It was my mistake, it was my fault she was suffering that much. And, you know, and I started crying as well because I started crying because I felt bad about the situation. I felt really bad. I felt really horrible. And I just wanted to do something, and I couldn't because, you know, I was calling my people to help, and my grandmother, everyone come to help. And my mom, she didn't do anything bad to me because she could see how much I was suffering as well. You know, it really touched me, like the way I did. And it was a fraction of seconds. I just felt this moment, I just threw at her. I didn't think that would hurt or would cut her the way it did. But that's something, it came to my mind now. As I said, when I told you before that about, you know, when you are, you know, young, the age, sometimes you do things that you're not proud of, and if you could go just for seconds back, I think maybe you change your mind or something when you see what happened afterwards, but it's impossible, it's already done. So that's one of the things, you know. I could tell other things as well. Like, I think all of us, we have moments in our lives that, you know what I mean? If you could go back, I know everything counts, everything makes you the person you are today, but some things, unnecessary things that wouldn't, you know, it didn't contribute for your growth, or maybe did, maybe makes you more compassionate about other people. I don't know. But it's something, Ace, that's sometimes when I think about it, and sometimes when I talk to her as well, she reminds me, go like, you remember that day when you did that to me? You know, but she's like laughing. She does, like, because she's over it anyway, and we are very close as well. But it's something that just when I talk to you now, I can see her cry in front of me, like with the, you know, with the action I did, and it was really bad. It was really sad. Yes, I think that was one of the worst thing, because I'm sure I have more, I'm sure, and if I would keep thinking, I would go on and on with you, because, you know, I've done other things in my life as well that I'm not proud of, you know. And but again, you know, all lessons, and you just need to see and understand why you did that, and try to analyze and try to understand, you know, and be kind to yourself as well, because, you know, we're gonna do those things, and I'm sure I might do other worse things as well that I'm not gonna be proud of. But, you know, you just need to understand why you did that, or how you did that, and why you were capable to do that, and try to understand why, and, you know, take a lesson or something out of it. So yeah, I would say that there's something that's one of the worst things I've done in my life.
So now I'm going to ask you another question, which
Sure.
kind of goes along with it. What is the thing that you've done in your life that you're most proud of?
Okay, now you see my smile, now different my face expression going this way. I can get very emotional when I talk about, because it's very powerful, Ace, and I'm already getting goosebumps, because it's very passionate, it's very it means a lot to me. When I was 19 years old, I had the opportunity to move to Portugal, and I didn't have support. My family couldn't support me to pay my plane ticket at the time. Now it's easier, let's say, in a way, but at the time, back in the 2002. My parents they couldn't afford to pay my ticket. They couldn't afford to pay my rent. You know, I was 19 years old. I had this opportunity to live abroad, and I wanted so badly. You have no idea how much I wanted, you know. And I'm so proud that I'm gonna write a book one day about it, because it's something that I'm very proud of, because I was 19 years old, and when I look back, I said, my goodness, where did I bring all this strength from? Where, you know? Anyway, I'm very proud that I, you know, in a 2 months of time, I made it to get the tickets, the plane tickets. I made it to get the money. You know, and I'm so proud of this moment in my life, because it's something, when I look back, I go like, my goodness, it was something that meant to happen to me, because I made it happen. You know, when you do something, they'll go like, my God, I'm so proud because I made it happen. And it was something that I wanted so badly. I wanted so bad to live abroad, you know, to speak English every day. Of course, I want to live in London. It's another story. It's another part of the story. But I remember, Ace, when I sat down in the plane alone for the very first time. I was with a lady. I called her my second mom, because she was a big part of my life at the time, because she was already living in Portugal anyway. But I remember, Ace, the moment when I sat down in the airplane for the very first time to go to fly to Portugal. And I remember, you know, I remember sit down, and I was looking by the window. I was like, you know, I was lost. And I remember this lovely lady asked me, William, do you know how to put the seatbelt on? And I didn't hear, because I was so lost in my thoughts. And one point she kind of go like, William, I'm talking to you. I was like, what? She was like, do you know how to put the seatbelt? I was like, no, can you help me, please? And she did. That moment when I said, oh my God, I made it. It's happening now. So that's the moment in my life that I was so proud. And not at the time, because, you know, 19 years old, emotions, uncertainty, everything was happening in my head, in my mind. But now when I look back now, you made me go there now. And I just have this moment of being proud of myself at the time, because it made me, I get emotional. It makes me understand that whatever you want to do in your life, just do it, believe it, feel it, go for it, because everything's possible. You know, if you put everything there, put your mind, put your tears, you know what I mean, your everything, put everything together, and trust me, it will happen.
That's
So
a great story.
so it's something is that I'm very proud. You know, when I look back, I'm very proud of this 19 years old, like teenager, almost an adult. Like, you know, I wanted so badly, and I made it. And I'm here now, talking to you, speaking English every single day, and also I'm here sharing these moments that I'm very proud of, looking back at the time, because it wasn't easy. I didn't have ways, you know what I mean? My family couldn't support me. I didn't know where to start or who go for. But if I tell you how everything happened, you have no idea how I made it up, everything. Yeah, one point, when I come to San Francisco, we're gonna go for a drink or for a coffee, and I'm gonna go and I'm gonna have time to talk all about all of that, and you're gonna understand why I feel so proud of that moment in my life.
Absolutely. I look forward to it very much.
Yes. Thank you so much for making me go through that that moment in my life. Yes, it's something powerful, and I always live by that. You know, willpower. It's something that you know, go for it. Just do it. Do it. Don't be afraid of anything, because we can do anything. You know, we literally can. If you believe it, if you feel it, you believe it, and you put all your mind there, it can happen. Nothing can go wrong. You know what I mean? It's not easy, but it's possible.
Yes.
Ace, did you have a good time? Did you enjoy the interview?
I had a great time, William. Thank you so much for deciding to interview me. This was great.
Thank you so much for taking the time. Thanks for being so sweet, so kind, so open as well, and also so approachable. I think, you know, it's a gift. I think not everyone can be this way, and I think it's a gift when you are like that. And I think it's, use that as something very beautiful in your life, because you come across and you can see, even though I meet you for the very first time, and I can feel straight away that you have this approachable personality. That's what makes you interesting. Very good.
Thank you very much.
Before you go, if you can share a positive message or a positive quote, something that you live by.
Words of wisdom, huh? I mean, just coming off of your story, what you said is absolutely true. Anything is possible. We can do anything we set our minds to. Humans are ridiculously amazing people. But I think probably the best words of wisdom that I'll leave you with aren't mine. Do or do not. There is no try. It's some people will probably get that, but it's a quote from Yoda in Star Wars. But it's very fitting. Yeah, I'll leave it with that.
Do or do not. I like that. Let's think about that now. Let's finish the interview and let people thinking about and getting their own message on it. Hey, it was a pleasure. Thanks so much. I really enjoyed the interview. Thanks so much for being part of the show, and you keep in touch. Okay?
You're welcome. Yeah, I'll talk to you soon.
Take care. Bye-bye. So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, to share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why you'd like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye-bye. See you next time.